Okay, so here we are with the next session of the similar past paper that was 221022 October November 2023. Now we do have the most difficult question according to the students, that is a scenario based question. Now the scenario based question, here we are provided with a scenario at question number 11, the most weighted question of the paper. Now they are saying a wood flooring company stores the names of up to 100 customers in 1D array. So we do have an array customer that will be storing the name of the customers. So customer 1 till 100 over here. A, B, C, for example, these are the names for an example. So till 100 customers. Okay. Now they are saying a two-dimensional array quotation store details of each customer quotations. Okay, now we do have a two-dimensional uh, array that is named with the quotations. Now, what it is going to store? Length of the room, width of the room, area of wood required, rounded up to next whole number. Okay, like for example, it's 3.5, so it will be 4. Next whole number. That means you need to apply the ceil function over here. Choice of the wood index, whole numbers. These are provided over here, 1, 2, 3. So if you need to choose the laminate, so that's an index number 1. If you need to choose the pine, that is an index value 2. If you need to choose with oak, so you have a index value of 3. Okay. Choice of okay, price of the wood required in dollars up to 2 decimal places. So if it's a laminate, so it's 29.99 and so on. The floor measurements, room length and room width are taken in meters. All floors are rectangular. For example, these are length and width, and these will be multiplied for the overall one. Okay, but do remember that the lengths, either of the length and width. Okay, so the measurements, either of the length, either of the width, should be in between 1.5 and 10 inclusive. So you need to apply a comment over here. Okay, the index of any customer's data is the same in both the arrays. If you are choosing for one, so A is index at index value 1 in the two-dimensional array of quotation, it should also be 1. That means at the first one is A over here, and first one should be with the length of room, width of the room, and all these things. Okay, in the customers table. For the quotations table. For example, a customer named at index 4 of customers corresponds to the data in index 4 of the quotations. Now they have given us few of the things. The wood choices available are index is given to you, wood types are given to you, per square meter is given to you. The data stored in the two 1D arrays named wood type and price. Okay, now we do have two other things. Okay, wood type is a 1D array, price is 1D array. Now in all we do have 4 arrays right now. The index of the wood type and the price in the array share the same index number. That means if at wood type 1 it is laminate, so at price 1 it should be the price of the laminate. It should not be the price of the pine, or it should not be the price of the oak. Now they're saying write a program that meets the following requirements. Okay, now these are the requirements that we need to actually follow. Input a new customer's name, room length, and room width. We need to input the customer name, we need to input the room length, and we need to input the room width. Check that each measurement is valid. That means it should be within the range provided, that is 1.5 and 10 inclusive. Next point. Output any error message and require the measurement to be re-entered until it is valid. If it is not within this range, you need to ask the user to input that measurement again, either of length, either of width. Calculate the area of the room. Okay, one more thing. It's separate for the length, it's separate for the width, because both of the things should be within the range of 1.5 till 10. Okay, input the choice of the wood and find its per square meter, price per square meter. Okay, now what is the choice of, you need to ask from the user, either it's a laminate, so it will be 29.99. If it's a pine, so it would be 39.99, and similarly if it's a oak, so it would be 54.99. Now this is the price of per square meter. Okay, but the room is obviously larger than that. So calculate the area of the room by multiplying together the length of the room and the width of the room. Simply, you need to apply the area of the rectangle over here. Because they already said to us that all the rooms are in the rectangular format. It was somewhere written over here. Yeah, all floors are rectangles. Okay, so you need to apply the rectangular formula. Okay, just after that, calculate the price of the wood needed. That means if you are finding out the per square meter, that means if it overall it's 30 square meter, and if it's a laminate, so that means 29.99 was actually the price of 1 square meter. Overall, it was 30 square meters. So you need to multiply 29.99 with the 30. Now they are saying store all the data in the relevant array. What is the data? What you have choose, what is the price? Okay. Output the customers. Now this is the data. Output the customer's quotation to include the name of the customer. Okay, for A, for example, A is the name, the choice of the word, for example, laminate has been chosen, and the calculated price of the word required. Three things are to be calculated: the name of the customer, what word he has chosen or she has chosen, and the overall price of that word according to the room line or according to the room part. Continue to accept the next customer. Okay, the next customer could be accepted. You must use pseudocode or program code and add comments to explain how your code works. You do not need to declare any array or variables. You may assume that this has already been done for you. Okay, now what are those arrays that you do not need to declare? The things they have already done for you. Like for example, what type, price, you do not need to declare them. They are already declared for you. Quotation, customer. So these are the arrays they have already done for you. If you are utilizing any sort of the other variables apart from them that are declared over here, so you need to obviously initialize them. Now you need to initialize wood type and the price. You do not need to declare them, but you need to initialize them. That means you need to give the values to the wood type and the price. All inputs and output must contain a suitable message. That means you need to utilize the proper prompts for doing this part. Okay. Now this said that you need to utilize the you need to put up the comments as well. And first of all, we need to initialize the wood time and the price. So for example, we are going to start from here. Um, wood type. Okay, at index 1, what was there at index 1 for the wood type? It was laminate over there. Okay, I do have a request, sir. Please inform me about the tips and the tricks to solve this question. The tips and tricks are quite simple. Just go step by step. What are they saying? Just go with that. So first of all, they have asked you to initialize the thing. So this is the first step that we are going to do. So just focus on the first step right now. Just forget about any other thing. So wood type 1, what was there at wood type 1? It was laminate over there. So laminate is a string. So we will be utilizing, or we will be putting it in a double inverted comma. Okay, the wood type 2. That means at index 2. What was there at index 2? I think so it was pine. Yeah, it was pine over there. And then at index 3, it was oak. So wood type 3, it's a oak over there. It's an oak over there. Okay, so we have initialized the wood type. Now they also asked us to put the comments. So comment is something that you need to tell that what are you actually doing. So the way of commenting is double backslash. Okay, now what have we done this? So we can say initialize the array wood type. Okay, just after initializing the array wood type, it also asks us to initialize the array of price. So I can put one more double backslash. Initialize the array price. So simultaneously we are doing with the commenting as well. Okay. Now price. First of all, I can just put it like this at index value 1. At the last, I can put up the index value, otherwise I will have to do it up and down multiple times. Price, index value 2, price, index value 3. Do remember that index value 1 should have the price of the index value 1. That means that index value 1, it was laminate. So we should have the value for the laminate right over here. So it was 29.99, that was 39.99 and 54.99. So 29.99, 34.99 and 54.99. That's not the string value, so we do not need to put up in the uh, double backslash. Okay, we could have multiple customers over here, so we need to have the variable for the customer number. Customer number has been initialized with the value 1. Okay. Next, true. Okay, why I have placed next to that allows for next customer to be input. Okay. So we need to start over here. Okay. So there were how many customers overall were there? There were 100 customers that we were allowed to, because it was storing 100 customers. Name of the 100 customers. So 100 customers are over here. So we will be writing it down while count do. Okay. So double backslash. So we need to input the name of the customer just after the input. Input a new customer name. Then we need to input the room length and then the room width. So this is the first point. So here we are. Input name of customer, comma, room length, and room width. So this is what we need to do. Okay. So how are we going to do this one? Do remember now it is within the while loop. So first of all, we will be having an output statement over here. So we will be keeping in mind with the indentation part. So we have started the while with the corners. So output will be just ahead of it. Output. Now what is the output statement? Enter the name, or you may place any of the statement. That's not an issue. Okay, enter the name. It will be just printed in a particular manner. Okay, the name was going to be input in the customers array. So we will be writing it down. Input customer. Now customer was the name of the array, but it was an array, so we will be taking it as the customer number. Customer number. So this is how we are going to input into an array. Now asking for the room dimensions, but first of all with the length and then with the width. So output enter room length, input. Now, how are we going to input? It will be into the variable room length. Okay, they also asked us to initialize that thing. Okay, so once they are going to initialize that thing, and they also asked us that you need to display an error message for this one. Okay, output enter the room length, input room length. Now, while the loop will be executed over here once again, while room length less than 1.5 capital or room length greater than 10.0. So if that is so, you need to make an output statement. Do again, please have a look over the indentation. So this output statement is within the while loop. So output incorrect length. Please enter again, or please re-enter. This is the output statement. Just after the output statement, what do we have? We do have input, because you'll be asking for the next one. Input room length, and finally it will be an and while. Where have we started with the while loop? Yeah, we have started over here. So we can make up a line over here with the pencil as well. Okay. So we can put up a and while over here. Okay. The similar thing we will be doing with the width as well. Okay, we could have placed the repeat until loop as well. Yeah, we will. First of all, we need to check for the length and the width separately. Okay. So, okay, we could have placed the uh, repeat until loop as well. But what would happen instead of the while loop right over here? Where have we placed the first while loop? Yeah, sorry. Enter the name. Yeah, over here. We could have placed repeat over here. Repeat, for example. Output enter the room length. Input room length. Okay, just after that, we could place until room length uh, less than 1.5 or room length greater than 10. Okay, we could have done this one as well. I mean, that means that loop will be again and again repeating itself. But we won't be in this part, we won't be able to print the output statement that your loop that your value is wrong. That is the reason that we haven't placed the repeat loop over here. Because if we are going to do that, so if you are saying, please, before the output statement and in between the repeat and the output statement, if you're writing it down over here that your thing is wrong or your length is wrong, so it will be saying it again and again. Similarly, after the input, if we are going to write it down, that you do it again. But if it's at the first time, it's correct. So why should we write it down? That is the reason that instead of the repeat until loop, we have utilized the while loop right over here. Okay, just after that, what you can do, you can just remove this part. Okay, now if it's and while, now similarly, we will be doing for the width as well. Because it asks us to check for the length and the width separately. Length separately should be validated, width separately should be validated. So that is the reason we have input the name of the customer, room length, and room width. So right over here. Now, what are we going to do? Just after the while loop was ended over here inside. Where was the output statement. Yeah, it was right over here. So in the similar line, we are going to output the next part as well. Okay. Output. Please enter width or room width. Up to you. Input room width now. Now again, we'll be applying with the loop while same loop. Instead of the room length, we will be just placing it with the variable room width. While room width less than 1.5 or room width greater than 10. So we'll be going to output incorrect width. Please re-enter input room width once again and while. So I'm not doing that thing once again. That's a similar part. Okay. Just after the and while, I'm just placing up an and while over here. Okay, before the while loop, you can have a comment as well, validating room width. Similarly, over here, before applying the while loop, you can put it out over here, validating room length. So this is how you need to do this one. Okay. Okay. Now what have we done? We have input the new customer's name, room length, and the width. Part one is done. Check that each customer is valid. Okay, done. Output an error message and required the measurements to be re-entered until the validation. Done. Okay. Just after the room width has been implemented. So what we need to do now? They're saying calculate the area of the room by multiplying together the length of the room and the width of the room. That means we need to find out the area. How are we going to find out the area now? Okay, do remember that it was in this one loop right now. ये जो आपका आउटपुट एंटर द नेम अब इस लूप के अंदर यानी कि पहले वाले लूप के अंदर आपका सारा काम चल तो मेक श्योर टू मेक एन इंडेंटेशन so you can just write it over here calculating area of a room. So how are you going to calculate the area of a room? You may write it down room size, for example. And in this room size, what are you going to do? Okay, they just told us to make it to the nearest, sorry, not to the nearest, to the next whole number. So how are we going to do that? We will be applying a built-in function that is known as the round. Round will be room length comma 1 multiplied by round room width comma 1. Okay, I made a mistake while letting the room length. L should be in capital over here. So what is the L doing? Oh, sorry, round function doing over here. The round function is rounding it off to the next whole number with a 1 decimal place. So the room area is now in the 1 decimal place. That means, for example, 5.0, 7.0 or something like that. Okay, just after the room size, we have taken out. Okay, so the room size now should be to the next whole number as well. 1 decimal place. 1 means to the 1 decimal place. Now, overall, we will be taking it with the room size. Room size will be given with a value round room size plus 0.5 comma 0. That means the whole value will be coming over here. Round 0 means, like for example, if it was right now 4.9 or 5.9, so now it will round it off to 4, oh sorry, 5 or 10. Now it's a complete whole number. 5 or 10, no decimal number now. So it's a whole number right now. Okay. So this is converted into the whole number. So now what have we completed? Calculate the area of the room by multiplying together the length of the room and the width of the room. Done. Now input the choice of the wood and find its price per square meter. That means now we need to find the price of the thing. Okay. Calculate the price of the wood needed. That means we need to ask for the customer. Okay. Input the choice of the wood and find its price per square meter. Okay. Just after that, store all the data in the relevant array. Okay. Now what we need to do before calculating it, we need to display that as well. Okay. We could skip the display part because it hasn't been asked with us. So, but we can do that as well. So I will be doing that part. Okay. Displaying wood types and their prices. So how are we going to do this one? Again, do remember that it is within this while loop. Whatever right now we are doing, it is within this while loop right over here. So make sure that your indentation should remain same. Okay. Now the output statement. Output what's available are, for an example, then okay. Now how are we going to do this one? Output number gap of what type gap. It's a gap over here. Okay. Price. That's all. Okay. Now how I'm going to display them? First of all, the number. That means number one, laminate. The price is 29.99. Number two, it was I think so pine 34.9. And yeah. Then at number three, it's a oak. Wood type. Sorry, three. It's a oak and price was I think 54.99. So how are we going to display that part? For by the loop because there are three of them. So for now for count 1 till 3. Output. Now this output is within this for loop. So make sure for the indentation once again. Output count, comma, double inverted commas, comma, wood type, count, comma, double inverted commas. So this is how you are going to output them. So this is all. Now for the prices as well, comma, just after the comma, we do have a price count. That means wood count is there, then price, comma, count. So what is how it is going to be? Output count. Count is which count is executing one. Wood type at count number one. So for example, laminate price at count number one, the price of that one. Sir. And finally, we do have a next count right over here. So this is how we are going to do this one. Okay. Now we need to input the choice of the wood from the user. Okay. So how are we going to do this one? Output statement. Input wood choice. Okay. Now input wood choice. The wood choice has been input. Now we need to validate as well. So again, we will be applying the while loop over here. While wood choice less than 1 or wood choice greater than 3. So it will be an output statement to to ask for the re-entering of the wood choice. Then it would be an input wood choice once again. Input wood choice. And finally, it will be an and while over here. I haven't placed the statement for the output. Okay, you guys can do that. Okay, once you have done this part, just after that, what are we supposed to do? Input the choice and price, find its, calculate the, okay, input wood choice and find its price. So price we need to per square meter. So how are we going to find it out? So we are going to find out wood cost, or we can first of all put up the comment as well. Calculating price of wood now. So just after for calculating the price of the wood, what we need to do? Wood cost, please keep in mind about the indentation. Wood cost will be given with a value. What? Room length, oh sorry, room area or room size. We took it as a room size. Room size multiplied by the price of the wood. So price was a array, and inside that array it should be wood choice. So whatever the choice, it is going to be entered out of 1 till 3. So that price will be counted for the wood cost will be counted. Okay. Just after that, we need to store that into a relevant array, and we need to then display that as well. So how are we going to place it into the relevant array? Okay, we are finished up with the lines, but yeah, I was having a less space. That's the reason that I'm winded up with the lines. You guys can complete it with the line easily. Okay. Okay. So now how are we going to do this one? So we need to put it up in the array quotation. So quotations was the name of the array. Now customer number. Into the customer number 1. Customer number, that means first column. What it should be? It should be room length. Then similarly quotation customer number comma 2. It should be room width. Then similarly quotation at 3. It should be room size. These are the all variables that we have already utilized. Then quotation customer number at 4. It should be wood choice. These are all the things that have been asked from us. Just after the wood choice, finally at 5th place, it should be wood cost. Did we take it with the wood cost, or yeah, we took it with the wood cost. So this is how we have stored. Now we need to display that as well. So how are we going to display that one? Now we are going to display this in a form. Output. Customer name. How are we going to output the customer name? Now it was from the customers. Customer was the name of the array and customer number. So whatever it is at one, so it will be displayed over there. Customer number will be displayed. Okay. Then we need to output the wood type here. Okay. And then for the price. So similarly, output wood type or wood you have choose wood you have choosed or something like that, comma. Now what was the thing for the wood? So it was wood type, and for that it was wood choice. So we have displayed it with the same array number, so it will be displaying it. And finally the price. So how we will be displaying the price? Output your price was something like that, comma. How the price will be done? So it will be a quotation type. Quotation. Just after the quotation, what do we have? Customer number, comma, would cost for at 5. So comma 5 right over. So this is how we are going to display it. Then it was with the while loop, so obviously it needs to repeat itself. So now it will be a customer number will be provided with customer number +1. Sorry, +1. Just after that, we will be checking if customer number is greater than 100. We are basically checking the limit for it. So customer will be provided with a value 1 once again, so that it should not stop. Customer number should be provided the value once again, so it should not stop. Finally, we do have an and if, and finally, and while at the end. So this is how this program will be done. So that was all for this scenario based question, and for this paper that I have already told in the starting that it was similar for 2023 2210 October November variant 22, and it was also similar for 0478 October November variant 22. So that was all. Thank you so much, guys. Allah Hafiz.